Hi everyone, and welcome to my video about my trying to conceive. I just wanted to introduce myself first. My name's April. I'm 27. I'm married my high school sweetheart and I have a beautiful 5-year-old son. We have been trying to conceive our second child since he turned 1 4 years ago, obviously. And this is our journey. So unfortunately, our journey hasn't been the easiest, and there has been a lot of mucking around when it comes to finding out the causes of our infertility and what's going on and the treatments and everything like that. But I thought I'd just share with everyone what's been going on, and hopefully this helps someone going through something similar and just knowing that you're not alone. So a little backstory about myself. I've always had regular periods. I didn't have any visible symptoms like other people would have that would show causes of infertility. And I'd always had proven ovulation through bloods, and obviously already conceiving a child, you would think I would be good to go for another one. Well, fast forward a year into trying and we still hadn't conceived. Obviously my emotions were all the time high. The jealousy started hitting towards anyone else that had conceived, and it just wasn't a good time for me. So we went and saw our gynecologist. He ran the basic test, obviously, since it showed that I was ovulating, I had regular cycles. He thought nothing of it. I did have elevated prolactin levels, so I was sent to get an MRI, but obviously that didn't show a tumor or anything, so he just gave me one script of Cabergoline and hoped for the best that would go away and sent me on my merry way. Well, unfortunately, obviously, in the next few months, obviously still didn't conceive. So I went back to him. He did some further investigation and he still couldn't figure out what was going on. I had the slightest elevation in my thyroid levels, but other than that, he didn't test for much else. So he gave me 2 scripts of unmonitored metformin. So he gave me the scripts and didn't obviously monitor anything that was going on within my ovaries or my blood levels. And he said, come back when you're pregnant. Pretty much what he said, come back when you're pregnant. Obviously I didn't fall pregnant, and I went back and he was just like, well, nothing else I can do. I'm going to refer you to a specialist. So we have fertility clinics in Australia. So he referred me to one of them, and then we were on a waiting list to go see one of them. When we finally did get into seeing a fertility specialist, we were coming up to the 2-year mark of trying. I was very emotional. My depression hit an all-time low. I've always struggled with anxiety, and even now it was really bad to the point where it was affecting my relationship a little bit. Obviously, we've gotten through it because we're still together, and I feel like we're stronger than ever now, considering what we're going through. My husband has said that Lucas really does help keep him going with this journey because he knows the end goal, what we could get, is another baby boy like our son, who is just perfect. So we just keep going and we just work as hard as we can to save up for all these treatments because unfortunately we don't have any private health. We just can't afford that right now. So everything is out of pocket for us. And I'm talking we've spent thousands. So we went to a fertility specialist. We decided to see one that had some pretty great They had good comments on there. I cannot speak today. They had good feedback from everyone that I have spoken to. So we decided to go see them, and they were great. I did leave bulimia out only for the fact that after all the bloods they went and got me done, I discovered that I was also had PCOS, and it was insulin resistant, and I had high testosterone levels. So that really upset me because obviously I did have extra weight on me, which I knew, but I thought it was just like my diet majority because obviously being depressed, I didn't always eat the best and I would always look into chocolate. But I did have extra facial growth, which would always make me very depressed. So I'd always be waxing and all that, and it was just horrible. But then they also went and they wanted to investigate my thyroid levels more. So they sent me to an endocrinologist and my prolactin levels more. Since I didn't have the tumor on my pituitary gland, I had to get remonitored by an endocrinologist to figure out what was going on. So then we were sent to a beautiful lady, and I'm talking, she is amazing. My endocrinologist is she helps me so much. She doesn't look at me as in what I am on the scale. She talks to me like a real human being, and I appreciate it so much. Having doctors who actually see you as a person and not just a number, or see you as how you are and weight wise, is amazing. So she decided, she looked at my neck and she saw on one side it was a little bit more larger and then larger than the other. So I went and had a scan done, a radioactive scan. It's like they sort of solution of radiation into me, and they looked and they found a nodule, and that my prolactin levels and my insulin resistance all needed treating. So she put me on Cabgron 500 milligrams once a week, and I have got to be on that now permanently until I conceive. And she put me on metformin. Her goal was to get me on 2,000 milligrams a day, but unfortunately my tummy seems to only be tolerating 1,000, if that, every day. So when I take any more, I'm just on the toilet 24/7, and obviously that's just not a lifestyle I can have right now. I can't live like that. It's too painful. But she's happy where my levels are at now, so she's okay with me just to stay at the 1,000 milligrams. My goal is to try and to up it as much as she wants me to, just to get the best results on it, because when you're insulin resistance, you get the better chances if you're on the highest dose of metformin. It's a diabetic medication, so it's really good to help prevent me from getting diabetes, because being insulin resistant, I'm closer and closer to being pre-diabetic if my glucose levels were to elevate. So I just need to really watch that. So when she discovered my thyroid, she decided that it would be best that I would get radioactive iodine treatment, because I had a nodule in there which was causing me to be hypothyroidism. And in her opinion, it's easier to treat hypothyroidism than it is hypothyroidism in pregnancy. So I decided to listen to her and to take a whole year off trying to conceive and have radioactive iodine treatment. It was very emotional for us, because our actual fertility specialist said that we could go ahead with IVF now that I was on medication for everything else. But we decided what was best to just get the radioactive iodine treatment out of the way, because we were told being on such a low dose that it probably reversed any thyroid conditions for us and we would never have to worry about it again. Unfortunately, that really did backfire, and now I am clinically hypothyroidism, which is the shittier one in my opinion, because now I have issues with weight. I'm always tired. I have a lot of hair loss. My hair used to be very thick, and now I can hold it in like one hand. It's the amount of hair that I have is ridiculous now. It's so thin and frail. It's snappy. And yeah, now I've got to be on medication for the rest of my life, which is horrible. Obviously we didn't see this coming. The endocrinologist didn't see this coming, but it was a risk. It was a very small risk, but unfortunately my body decided to be one of those, one of those people in those small percentage to get the hypothyroidism, and now it's something I have to live with every day. And the fact that my levels are quite severe, that I have to be on 100 milligrams every day of levothyroxine and 200 twice a week, just to keep me in a certain level bracket that's would be considered lower than everyone else's, but for my condition I have to be at a certain point. I can't be in the normal bracket of the thyroid levels in Australia, only because if I did conceive, it's best to have more medication in my system to support a pregnancy than it would be if I didn't. So now I'm permanently made, so I'm hypothyroidism, but they put me in the hypothyroidism levels just to keep me stable for pregnancy. So it's very confusing. I do feel great though. I've got energy again. I can actually get out of bed. It's great. It was very tiring in the beginning. I'm not gonna lie. People would say I was lazy because every time I was whinging, I was tired. I'd be getting bruises. I couldn't cope with day-to-day life. I was snappy, and I just felt like it was making me a terrible mum. But now that I'm medicated, pretty much everything that I have wrong with me, I'm on the right medication now and doses. I am just feeling $1,000,000. So that's good. We've had other intensive tests done just to make sure everything else has gone right in our system, and we did find out it's just completely hormonal imbalance on why we can't conceive. I had a high cozy done, which was pretty uncomfortable, but that showed that my uterus was perfect, my ovaries were perfect, my tubes were all clean and perfect, so that made me really happy. At that point, before I was on all my medication though, we did see that my eggs weren't maturing perfectly, but our recent baseline tracking cycle we had with our last clinic, it showed that I had beautiful lining, I had mature follicle and all that. So obviously the medication and everything that we've been doing is working. My eggs are now maturing, and you know what, probably down the track, once I lose a little bit more weight on this light and easy, I probably would conceive naturally, but we just still want to get help from a fertility specialist, considering that it has been 4 years and we just don't want to have to wait longer than we have to. Obviously we will, if we can't afford like the full IVF financially, we'll have to wait until like another year or so, but we're hoping to do a few IUIs with a new clinic. The reason why we are changing clinics, and don't get me wrong, this previous clinic that we were with was been fantastic. Like, they found out everything that's been going on. I now know exactly where I am at in my journey, but they just didn't see me as a person. They more so saw me as in the weight I am, and being all these hormone conditions. Yes, I'm medicated and I'm right, but I still have days where I will fluctuate in my weight, and I won't ever be as tiny as I've ever been unless I really work on it. And I just don't feel like that's right for my mental health. I do struggle when it comes to dieting. I really do. It just gets me down. I just feel, I don't know, it feels like suffocated from it. Like, I can't even go out and enjoy, if I go out for coffee with my son and if we go to McDonald's, like, he can get a Happy Meal and I have to sit there and just watch everyone eat, and it's just depressing. And I don't want to always live like that. I am on light and easy just to lose a bit of weight, so when we do treatments, that my weight isn't the main issue, because I do need to lose a good old 10. They want me to lose 10, but technically I should be losing 30. But if I could just lose 10 and keep 10 off, that'd be my goal, is to just keep it off. And then I would be happy. I don't mind being curvier for what I am, for like my height and all that. My husband, he finds me attractive. I'm, you know, happy in myself. It's only just the fact that I can't conceive. And the doctors have already said it's pretty much, they don't think it's my weight because I ovulate, I get regular cycles and all that, but it will just help. So I am doing that, but unfortunately I just don't like the pressures the other clinic was giving me, so we've now changed. The new clinic, I know for a fact they don't care about weight. Now, I've had another friend who's gone through the same journey, and she's a little bit bigger, and they don't discriminate against her, and she's told me all good things about them, and I've heard so many success stories about them. You do have to pay more if you're under a certain BMI, but my BMI is under that, thankfully. But I will continuously try to work on it, because I don't want to be like big forever, but I just don't want to have to live on, you know, lettuce and carrots forever either. So it's a catch-22 really kind of situation. With everything I've got going on in my hormonal system, it's probably best I stick to a very basic diet, but I just want to be at a point where if we go out, I can, you know, enjoy a coffee and a scone, you know. I don't want to be like sitting there starving while everyone's eating and have to wait till I go home to weigh up all my food. So that's pretty much where we are fertility wise. We're hoping in August, September that we're going to be booking an IUI. We're hoping that would help. Like I said, in my last baseline tracking cycle, which was at the end of last year in Christmas, we had a very beautiful mature follicle at 24 millimeters. I had 7.5 millimeters of thickness in my lining, which is perfect. That was the day before ovulation. And all my hormones levels were perfect. So we do know that my body is trying to work, and it's getting the levels are now perfect. My eggs are perfect. We feel like we just need a little bit extra help, maybe producing a little bit more follicles for a bit more chances. I'm not scared of having multiples. My dream is to have twins next, because my husband just wants to have one more pregnancy. I want to have 2 more kids. So if we had multiples, that would be a win for me personally. I myself am a triplet. So in fact, if I could carry on the next generation of multiples in the family, it'd be amazing, because my other 2 sisters only had 2 kids separately each, and they're not having any more. So we don't know if there's going to be another multiple in this generation, or if we have to wait until my little brother's old enough. So yeah, that's pretty much what we're at and where we're going. I'm not gonna lie, this has been such a tough journey. I have had problems, very bad problems with depression in this. It is not easy. I have backed out of a few times on doing treatments only because of the fact that I just didn't feel like I was ready. I was scared. The pressure on myself because of my weight was such a huge thing and all my conditions. So, but I feel ready now. My son, he's at the perfect age. He keeps asking for a slimming, but he's just at that perfect age now. Like if I had a baby or if I had morning sickness, you know, he can look after himself to the extent where he can get food out the fridge. He doesn't need me to change his nappy. He's just such a perfect baby. He's never woken up or anything. And I just feel like it's perfect timing for us now. We just renovated my whole house. So my whole house is all brand new, spanking new for the baby. And my husband's about to finish his trade. So I just feel like which annoyed me at the time, people saying it's God's plan. In a way, I'm not heap spiritual, but I feel like now is the time. Like I feel like we're ready. Like I feel like mentally I'm a lot better now. I've separated my work from my personal life a lot better now because I do own my own business as a beauty therapist, and I've separated that more now. I'm in a salon now. My home life's better. My husband and I have worked out where we can be 50-50 in the home more so because we've been together since we were 15. So obviously we've had to grow up a lot together and we're completely opposite people. So hello, Ava. So and I'm a bit OCD, so like the way I like things done is not exactly how he does it, but we're finally, you know, we're on such a great track in our relationship. He's helping us out so much around the home, especially because I do work as well, and I know he's such a great dad. I feel like our home life balance is perfect now. My son, he's ready. He's at the point too when we do have the baby, he can help. So I feel like it's time. Like we're going to keep saving. I'm going to keep trying to lose weight. I'm doing light and easy just because it doesn't affect me mentally because I'm not weighing food or anything. It is more financially expensive, but it is working. So that's the main thing. Other than that though, yeah, everything's ready. Our medication's all right. You name it, bring it on. I'm really hoping that the next few months go fast. My next appointment with my new specialist is in July. Not until the middle of it though, so that kind of sucks. I did try to get an early appointment, but I missed out. So, oh well, it gives me a bit of time to, you know, get a little bit more skinny so I can lose weight for the for the fertility specialist. Sorry, my cat's really clingy. I've got 3 of them, hence, you know, turning into a crazy cat lady from all this waiting. And 3 dogs. But anywho, that's my story. And if anyone would like to know anything else about our journey and what's going on, I do understand at the end of the day, like my journey is improving. So I am very grateful for that. But for anyone out there struggling with secondary infertility, being that you have 1 child, 2 child, 3, and you want another one, it's okay to be sad. You're entitled to have as many children as you want, and don't let anyone tell you differently. The amount of times people told me to just be grateful, I just wanted to strangle them. It's your body, it's your family. You're entitled to be sad. And if anyone else is struggling with this journey, just comment down below and we can be cycle buddies. You know, every time it happens, I know that 2-week break is so intense and all that, and the timing. I've only just really started getting into all those terms and checking everything. I had no idea my trying to conceive game was not strong at all. So I'm starting to get there. So if anyone has any tips and tricks also or any recommendations, put them down below. And until next time, I'll talk to you guys later.